Welcome to Boss Automotive. 2018 Buick Regal Tourx first drive review. Buick's Riff on a Subaru theme. A station wagon with rough looks fit for the hybrid group. Station wagons are making a rebound. Old-fashioned wagons were relinquished in America back in the late 1980s like rotational phones, video arcades and waterbeds. The reason? Minivans, trailed by SUVs. Yet, now that hybrids command our car scene, there seems, by all accounts, to be a tranquil reaction from purchasers who need a spacious vehicle that can deal with enterprise and apparatus without the tall body shell. Enter the ruggedized station wagon. Indeed, it was Subaru that developed this breed back in the mid-1990s with the Outback. Also, these Subarus are darling. Last year, the organization sold more than 188,000 of them. Be that as it may, Subaru isn't the main player. Simply a year ago, VW joined the gathering with its Golf L-Track. Audi and Volvo have prominent sections that stay the highest point of this class with the L-Road and the V60 and V90 cross-country models, yet the household brands have been missing from this wagon specialty, up to this point. Buick expects the all-new Buick Regal Tourx will add autos to this fragment as opposed to take piece of the pie. It's an underserved showcase, said Sam Russell, executive of Buick promoting at the dispatch of the Tourx in Sedona, Arizona. Buick says the Tourx will at first speak to around 30% of every Regal deal. What's more, Mike Panofsky, chief of Regal Item and Valuing, says that enthusiasm for the wagon from merchants has been strong to the point that deals could in the end be pared equally between the Regal Sportback and Tourx. The Tourx is about indistinguishable to the German advertised Opel Insignia Country Tourer, yet there have been redesigns and alterations to make the Country Tourer more like a Buick. Mechanically, the Tourx shares its powertrain with the Regal Sportback. Aside from here, the keen twin-grip all-wheel drive framework, which can send to work over the back hub, is standard. The 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-barrel in the Tourx makes 250 horsepower and 295 pounds-to-foot of torque and comes matched with the 8-speed programmed. The wheelbase of the Regal Sportback and Tourx measures the same, yet general length is up by 3.4 creeps in the wagon to 196.3 inch. The Tourx's additional length is the thing that adds to its outstanding payload limit. There's 32.7 cu-foot of freight stay with 5 travelers on board. That is about double the storage compartment space of a Honda Accord. Overlay the seats down and there's a great 73.5 cu-foot of room. That is more space than the Audi L-Road, 50.5 cu-foot, the Volvo V90 Cross Country, 53.9 cu-foot, or even the Mercedes-Benz E400 wagon, 57.4 cu-foot, with their back seats down. Truth be told, you'd have to get into some genuinely heavy hybrids to either coordinate or surpass the Buick's number. To improve ground freedom, this wagon is 0.63 inch taller than the Regal Sportback. About portion of that extra stature originates from taller springs at each corner, and the other half originates from the thicker sidewalls of the 235/50R18 tires. The springs are no stiffer, however the damper tuning is remarkable to Tourx in view of the expanded weight focused over the back of the vehicle. Like the Sportback, the Tourx has similar countermeasures to either smother or repulse clamor. Also, that incorporates acoustic overlays on the glass, protection cushions and underhood reflexes. The Buick Group even supplanted some back framework segments to dispose of clamber and went to one-of-a-kind bushings in the front suspension and in addition exceptional isolators for the loop springs. What's more, active noise control was tuned particularly for the wagon. Like the Sportback, the Tourx utilizes Continental Contisealant tires which have a polyether-based polyurethane froth clung to within the tire to hose out street impacts. The execution. The Regal wears its wagon body style well. The extents are longer and lower than some ruggedized wagons, so it looks somewhat less butch. Yet, this is as yet an extremely great-looking machine. The flares are especially cool-looking, and those 18-inch wheels truly toughen up the outside. The Tourx begins at just shy of $30,000. That is a couple of $1,000s more than a base Outback 2.5, yet nearly $15,000 less expensive than an L-Road. Our analyzer was a genuinely stacked Essence show with $3,815 in choices. That included tech like back cross movement alarm, path change caution, remote telephone charging and the 8-inch infotainment screen with route and LED lighting. Those alternatives brought the cost up to $39,760. The outdoorsy topic we burrow outwardly doesn't precisely mean the inside. There's nothing within that tells you this is a Tourx and not a customary Regal, no one-of-a-kind trim, no uncommon seating surfaces or hues, and no Tourx identification. The switches and controls are anything but difficult to discover and utilize. However, generally speaking, this inside is somewhat plain. Our greatest protest originates from the simple measures, which are little and look modest. Essentially, the cowhide seats aren't as delicate as one would envision calfskin seats to feel like in a Buick. However, move into the rearward sitting arrangement and the experience moves forward. The long rooftop body not just takes into consideration a tremendous all-encompassing sunroof, which our Auto had, yet in addition greater entryway openings. That implied that moving into and out of the back seat can be proficient without dodging our head. The same can't be said for the Regal Sportback, which has a lower, quicker roofline and didn't enable us to leave that back seat very as nimbly. The Tourx is the Regal to have when you pull individuals and stuff regularly. Also, with regards to utility, the Tourx sparkles. Not exclusively does their payload hold offer more space than some other wagon by a wide edge, yet it additionally surpasses the limit of some bigger SUVs. To overlap those back seats in an advantageous 40/20/40 split, essentially press the catches within the payload hold. Talking about freight, Buick fabricated some brilliant portable grapple indicates into the heap floor shield your rigging from sliding around. Presently the best thing about the station wagon, other than the utility, is that it isn't car-like, it's an auto. Wagons for the most part ride and handle precisely like their car or hatchback partner. Also, that is for the most part valid here, as well. Really, the Tourx rode a bit smoother than the Regal Sportback we last tried. That is most likely on the grounds that there's more weight over the back pivot and more sidewall on those Tourx tires. Indeed, on the most exceedingly bad washboard earth streets, this Buick dosed up that thunderstrip type territory without bumping our bodies or our morning espresso. Sadly, the aunt of the building squares of this current Buick's quietness, the Contisilent tires, which the group says cuts a couple decibel off the acoustic levels in the lodge, weren't introduced on these early creation autos. Indeed, even without the extraordinary tires, however, the clamor outside this Regal is adequately quieted. The Tourx is sensibly fast, as well in spite of conveying the additional wagon weight. The turbo 4-barrel is to work rich and permits great part throttle quickening, notwithstanding when the 8-speed isn't one of its taller riggings. On the interstate, the Tourx daydreamed along at 1,870 miles per hour and returned 24 miles per gallon on our 120-mile drive from Phoenix to Sedona. The best news is that the Tourx feels about as sure-footed in the corners as the Sportback. Be that as it may, time spent pushing the Tourx on a twisty two-laner made them chase for a game mode for the transmission. There isn't one. Indeed, the Buick has manual move ability, yet a decent game mode that ties together and hones the reactions from the transmission. Controlling in motor would truly make this auto more fun. Allos, in spite of that taller ride tallness, there's still only 5.7 creeps of ground leeway, that is 3 inches, not exactly a Subaru Outback, and no extra slip plating underneath. That is presumably fine and dandy for what most will utilize this auto for, yet don't anticipate that this Buick will take after a Jeep, or a Subaru Outback. Besides, up a mellow go dirt road pumping wheel without some spotting. On sale, now. Base price, $29,995. Powertrain, 2.0-liter turbocharged i4, AWD, 8-speed programmed. Yield, 250 horsepower at 5,500 revolutions per minute, 295 pounds-to-foot at 3,000 to 4,000 revolutions per minute. Control weight, 3,708 pounds. Efficiency, 21/29/24. EPA city/highway/combined. Geniuses, tremendous payload limit and a sleek ride. Cons. Interior feels dated, and it does not have a game mode.